right, welcome everyone to Hooligans United's podcast. We're a group of guys who talk about fantasy, Premier League. We talk about the sport of soccer, sport of football, whatever it is you call it. Today we have a new friend joining us, Kory. He can introduce himself in a little bit. We also have international games we have to get to. Definitely going to talk about the US men's national team. We're all stoked that Premier League is back. We have to talk about Manchester turning blue today.
As if it hasn't been for a
People
while.
want to talk about Bruno Lage.
Don't have to,
Kyle was supposed to be telling us about Celtic, watching Celtic in a club bar in Dublin, but he's out tonight. He's on assignment, so we're having
it's three.
That's what we're calling it.
Or is he back?
He's back. He's back. He got back Monday.
Right. Okay. Got it. I think we want to start out with Kory. Let him introduce himself. Tell us what he watched.
Oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Kory. I was invited through Kyle to this group, and I happened to also win the league the first year. But let's not talk about that too much.
No, bring that up.
Yeah, no, it was a good start. As I go and look and see the fact that I probably lost this week, but grew up on Long Island, went to college in upstate New York, played, all throughout my life, including college, played a little semi-pro after. But as I was doing that, I was getting my coaching licenses and whatnot. I've been coaching for about 8 years now. Club, a little bit of college, and now varsity soccer at a local high school here in Colorado. So I love the game. I eat, sleep, breathe it. Whether that's good or bad is still to be determined. But it's an ongoing process, but I'm excited to be here. I don't know, I was just out with Kyle before, and he was talking about Erling Haaland scoring a hat trick and basically carrying his Premier League team right now. So it was funny. But I watched the second US game. I didn't get a chance to watch the first because I was coaching.
You're lucky.
Yeah, I heard it was bad. But I got to watch the Saudi Arabia game, and it wasn't that bad, but it was a tale of two halves, I thought.
Who all watched the first game?
I watched both games.
You guys watched both games.
Yeah. Way too early.
How about that? Midfield for the longest time has been our strongest point in our new generation of soccer. And how was that midfield against Japan?
Yeah. Japan looked. Japan played like it was a real game, and then our team was really surprised that Japan played like it was a real game. After the fact, in all the interviews, Berhalter and a few of the guys were like, "Yeah, it was competitive. It was more competitive than I thought it was going to be." And it's like, well, it's a soccer game, so
it's a soccer game. It might be an international friendly, but you're preparing for a World Cup in 2 months.
Yeah, it's your second to last warm up game before the World Cup. You gotta.
Yeah, you gotta take more opportunities.
Yeah.
Right.
Japan, it looked like they were fighting for their spots in their team, and USA was just kind of like, well, I'm gonna be playing, so I'm just gonna
not get hurt here. And
don't hurt me.
Yeah.
And then that turned into them
part of the
passing to
problem?
Japan all the time.
Yeah.
The fact that most of them know they're going to start at this point already. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Matt Turner looked great.
He did.
I thought he looked great. He stopped a lot of shots. That's what they say he does. I'm happy with that.
And his distribution didn't look too bad either. He was pretty comfortable with the ball at his feet.
Better.
Quite a few long balls actually were, not just turned into 50-50s, but yeah, they weren't too bad.
Yeah, he was the best player on the field by far, I thought. For us.
Yeah, definitely for us.
Mm-hmm. Something else I wanted to talk about with this game was there was the whole pitch controversy, saying this is a bad pitch. This is something so growing up in the Southwest, we don't have a lot of grass here, and so growing grass here is very difficult. And so anytime I hear people complaining about pitches and bad pitches and stuff, I'm just like, man, most soccer players are ridiculously spoiled when it comes to that. Because a lot of times there's those areas of the pitch that turn into mud where a lot of people are. So right around the middle circle and then right in front of goals, those areas just turn into mud. Here they turn into dirt, hard packed dirt. And It looked like a pretty nice pitch to someone who plays in Arizona. So
That's
Where was
fair.
the game played?
it was in the
Yeah.
first
I
game.
forgot which city in Germany it was.
Just
Mhm.
Germany? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like a
and the
lower league, lower tier
German
stadium.
team.
Yeah.
And the grass wasn't the normal like carpet grass; it was thicker. So the ball didn't move as quickly as what they were used to. So that's why a lot of their passes weren't
Like,
as crisp
Crisp.
as normal.
but do you think that's because maybe, I don't know, the MLS plays still on turf fields, which are technically worse for the body? I don't know. Like,
But why would that matter when most of the
don't
guys
think
that played on
MLS
our
plays
team
on-
were playing in the EPL, the Bundesliga, Serie A?
Does the MLS play
Liga.
turf? I don't think they do.
there's still like a good amount
Uh,
of them that play on turf fields.
Yeah, quite
Turf
a
fields
few.
technically aren't banned, and I'm
Okay.
pretty sure some of them still play on turf. I could be wrong.
No, I
No,
just
some of them
wa-
are still on turf. Which
I
is why a
just
lot of
watched
the
Charlotte
international
play.
guys come over and have it in their contracts they won't play on turf.
Yeah, I just saw the Charlotte game played in the Carolina Panthers stadium, 2 nights ago?
All right. Right.
A little embarrassing for like the highest level, but whatever.
That's
Yeah, so reading here on the article, it's talking about Atlanta United, and on one hand, maybe it's embarrassing that that's turf, but on the other hand, I don't think it's embarrassing that they get 75,000 people in there for every game. That's pretty cool.
no, not at all. Yeah,
No, yeah, that's actually really impressive that their population is that high every time. Other attendance.
Yeah.
That's awesome for them.
Yeah, they do well.
Yeah, and then okay, so the other thing I wanted to say about that was Japan was playing on the same field, so
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was my point there.
Oh,
It's
come
just-
on. No, that's not good enough.
Matt, what was that, Matt?
they adjusted to it and we didn't. And that's like, to me, that negates the excuse entirely. Right.
Completely agree.
So the other point in this game that I wanted to ask you guys about, and I think maybe we'll start with Nick on this one, is the what do we think of the American fans at these games? Some people, didn't seem to mind it. Other people thought it was pretty obnoxious, and I think there was a point where there was a chant about one of the players not being, truly Japanese, which is, obviously not in support of that, but just in general, do we like the American fans being loud and rowdy even when there's no one else in the stadium, or do they need to like read the room?
I mean, the issue I would say is the fact that like our chants are like the same thing over and over again, and then whenever they try to do something else, it seems to be I don't know, maybe like potentially racist a little bit. I don't know. I could be just saying that out loud, but I mean,
Yeah, sorry.
I know
sorry to
someone-
throw,
everyone's thinking it.
yeah, sorry to throw to you, Nick, if it's not
No.
something you've thought about there.
No, I mean, I've thought about it, but also at the same time, it's like if you think about it, like I mean, a lot of our chants are like, what was the chant back in the 2014 World Cup? I believe that we will win. Literally, it was like that was the same chant for every single thing
Oh my God.
that they did, like over
Yeah, it
and
was the
over
most.
again.
That was definitely the most popular one.
But I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
but
like, that just
yeah.
seems to be like that's like our chant, and I feel like that's really like sounds like a 5-year-old's chant. But also the
Yeah,
chants that
or-
they were doing at Japan, I feel like I don't
It
know.
was either
being
super basic or it was problematic.
or it's problematic. And I mean, being
Yeah.
rowdy is fun, but also like there's a point where you got to take it down a notch. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, I mean, what they've been saying across the entire like world is like say no to racism, but also at the same time, like we don't know how to, I guess. I think that's really weird. I think that's pretty abysmal to me, but I don't know.
I'd agree with that. But also kind of going back to how their chants are, they're all kind of do the same chants over and over again all the time. Playing in college, playing for soccer in college, especially at a D2 school in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, I think maximum we got maybe 100, 200 people in the stands. And the people that go to that are there really just to have fun and cheer for people that they knew. So they would go out to the bars beforehand or out to someone's house, have a kegger, show up at the game, just be rowdy, yell chants and stuff that they knew off the top of their head, or someone would print something off with chants that they've had for years and years at this point. And I feel like that's just kind of what Americans do. It's like if they did just go to the Japan game and just, just chanted the stupid chants over and over again, that everybody knows, it would be okay, cool, stupid Americans just doing stupid American things. They're being rowdy, trying to cheer for their team, and then they still lose 2-0. It just seems like that's just kind of what we Americans do. But yeah, it becomes problematic when they get bored of those chants and they start saying something else. So yeah, it's hard to bring that up and talk about that. But then at the same time, in England, when you listen to some Premier League chants, some of their chants are literally talking about like murdering people almost every week, and that hardly ever gets talked about.
Are they though?
Let's see. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. The Glazer family. You're gonna die. We're gonna kill you. Chop you up. You're gonna die.
Okay. Well, all right. Fine.
That's just one example from a United fan, but like that's on all the teams. They have something where they're like chanting about somebody on the team. Like, okay, so what's somebody? Robin van Persie going from Arsenal to Manchester United. You don't think the Arsenal fans cheered about him dying or something whenever they played each other? Tevez from Man United to City, chants and fans, it's hard to control them. It's just kind of, there's a line, and if the fans actually did cheer something about that, about somebody not being fully Japanese, that's a line that they crossed. But there's a weird gray area when it comes to hooligan-ness in the stands.
Yep.
And that's just kind of where I sit on it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the creativity. I think that's
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
It's something that the US national team supporters clearly lack in a lot of ways. So it's cool that they're trying. They just need to,
Calm it.
refocus that energy to less problematic,
Do you guys remember that time where sorry to interrupt you there, Matt. Had you anything else to say? Do you remember that period of time where every soccer team in the world was doing that Norwegian, or was it the Icelandic?
The haka?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
And and then it was like every single American college football team was doing it, and and it was set to like Sandstorm, and just that lasted like a summer.
Yeah.
We take something, we make it go viral, man.
Yeah. So
no, we take something and then we burn it into the ground is what we do.
Okay, that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, so speaking of burning into the ground, we have the Saudi Arabia game still.
Right.
Cool. Which
was maybe not burning into the ground, but burning into your eyeballs. Boring soccer game. The funny thing was the announcers mentioned several times that Saudi Arabia has like 6 friendlies.
Well, they had one they had the one the day after they played us.
Yeah.
It was it was nuts when I looked at their schedule.
They had a bunch. It was good to see Christian Pulisic and let's see who else played. Was it
Reina,
yeah. For the Saudi Arabia game.
It was. Yeah, it kind of sucked that Reina had to come off after 30 minutes because he felt a little something and they didn't want to push him too hard.
Yeah.
And then didn't Pulisic get hurt that game too?
I didn't hear that.
When doesn't he get hurt?
Yeah. I did not hear that he did. Saudi Arabia was playing like a team who were trying to earn their spots. My understanding was that team was like they're a mix of their first, second, and third string guys. And so a lot of the guys on the team are still trying to book their flight to Qatar.
And they were running their butts off, that's for sure. They were trying their damnedest to do something.
Yeah.
And the USA we're just trying not to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk into that a little bit more if you want to about the actual U.S. men's national team, because I know everyone probably has an opinion on who should be playing and who shouldn't be, especially after those 2 games.
Well, that's
Corey,
the thing is, like,
you
I
got an
wasn't able
opinion?
to
I've seen you
really.
making some facial expressions over there.
I mean, everybody's got an opinion. I mean, I don't think there's many great options either, especially for the back four or the midfield. I mean, the midfield is okay, but I think the midfield is not as technical as people think they are or want them to be. So, I mean, at least from what I saw in the Saudi Arabia game, they're great at winning the ball. They're full of energy, full of athleticism, but they play the ball back. And then we have 4 defenders that can't move the ball forward. So how are we going to get Gio Reyna, Christian Pulisic, et cetera, involved and actually be able to do something in the World Cup if we're going to be winning the ball, playing it backwards, and then trying to build from there with center backs that can't play with the ball.
That's the Berhalter way.
I know how he
Really
wants to
is.
play, and I have no problem with the style, but if you don't have the players that can operate, then isn't it the coach's job to adjust
Agreed.
Right.
or,
And
or
also
make something
to,
fit?
Go
and
ahead.
also to create enough competition that these players want to actually play in a World Cup warm-up friendly and earn their spot.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I agree. Like you said, I mean, some of them are playing like they were trying to not get hurt. And yeah, it would be horrible if any of them got hurt for their club and for the US. But at the same time, you can see how other teams are preparing. I mean, I'm sure people have opinions on the concept of the Nations League, but those teams are playing high level games with
Mhm.
good players that are trying their hardest and, are playing for pride in their country and not just worrying about getting hurt, and then they're going back to their teams and still playing. Like you can't treat these games like they're nothing and then act surprised when you get waxed the first, World Cup game.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what
Very true.
I don't know what the answer to that is. In a lot of ways, I'm really happy we're not playing other CONCACAF teams right now, because we could be playing, Honduras again, Grenada again. And don't get me wrong, those teams, it's awesome that they are, fielding teams and making CONCACAF competitive. But I think it's good that we're going outside of the confederation and getting other teams. I just don't know, I don't know if you organize some kind of mini tournament. I mean, in Europe it's easy because you have a whole bunch of the best teams in the world all right there next to each other. They don't even have to fly to each other.
I mean, that's a good point though, too. But I mean, I would also be afraid to, like, for the US to play, I don't know, Honduras or Costa Rica or something like that, because like they are pretty physical. Like,
Yeah.
especially Honduras, like they can get kind of, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say dirty, but they can get pretty mean too. So I would be afraid to play them at that point unless it was already scheduled,
Right.
We also
I don't know.
play-
Yeah.
we
I
also
honestly
don't
think
play-
that they should have done something kind of like the United Nations League, except combine the better teams with North America and South America, and kind of make what they do is that they've got a Nations League A, Nation League B, and you can
Mhm.
get promoted and relegated each time, every 2 years or whatever it is.
like England just got relegated.
Yeah, exactly. Like England just
Yeah.
got relegated.
That was
Yeah,
funny.
but that's because Southgate is just
Yeah, he's bad.
atrocious. We'll get to that.
We can get to that later. But yeah, actually going on what you said earlier about how, it's the Greg Berhalter way, there's a way that he actually wants to play and have the team play. I mean, obviously we were missing Musa. Like, he's a big component for our center midfield to be able to actually like do something with the ball besides just winning. He's got good technical skills. He's able to pass forward. He's able to dribble and actually like break the lines by dribbling past people.
Mhm.
But then he's got 2 other people on the team that for their club teams can do that same thing, but he always plays them on the wing, in Reyna and Aronson.
Yeah, I don't get why
But
you
he-
play Aronson on the wing, but that's
Yeah, he always plays him on the wing, but for
get it.
Leeds, for Salzburg, he always played as that cam, that number 10, and always drops into the midfield and helps out and move the ball forward, because that's what he's best at. And Reyna, probably being the most technical on the team, in my opinion, at least I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like, so probably they have the best
Probably.
feet, best technical ability, best passing ability. Put him in the middle of the field where he can touch the ball the most. and he can give it to the other guys like the Pulisic, the Weahs, the Sergeant Pepe, whoever he's got up top. Yeah, all those guys. Like,
But
that's
do you
just
think
how I've
almost?
seen things.
But to go back to that, kind of what Myles was saying, like I understand that no one wants to get hurt, or what Kory was saying. I'm sorry. I know that they like some of these players don't want to get hurt, but also I almost wonder if it was. I feel like it's the same way England's been playing. I know Gareth Southgate is an idiot, but and a terrible coach. But also, I think like I think they're almost playing their not so good players to see if like their quality in their own lineups. Maybe is that what's happening?
But who in the U.S. men's national team did he play that wasn't normally starting anyways? He only played Luca De La Torre because Musa was hurt.
That's true.
But De La Torre has actually been like a rotation player with them anyways, because normally he does have, a pretty good game. He's pretty technical and knows how to pass and stuff. He had a bad 2 games. If I think he played in both. I can't remember exactly, but the one definitely against Japan, he had a bad game. But yeah, going back to that too, he plays 3 CDMs in a 4-3-3 with De La Torre, Adams, and McKinney. Even though McKinney is more of an 8, but he still plays a little bit more defensive because he's just more of a ball winner. Right. You're worried about being able to move the ball forward, but he's the one making the decisions on not choosing people that can move the ball forward.
No, it's really funny that you just said that they lost they're playing 3 CDMs, and I'm literally looking at a statistic from this game, the Japan game. The U.S. men's national team lost possession 54 times in its defensive half in the first half against Japan.
The first
Yeah, it
time
was
that
bad.
I heard that statistic, I didn't believe it. I was like, that can't be right.
I was like,
Yeah,
what?
I thought it was a typo, and I thought it meant the whole game.
Right.
It wasn't.
First half.
It wasn't.
Like, obviously, his system is not working.
No, at least it didn't then.
Can we
Well,
go
not
back to
against
the?
Japan.
Can we go back to Jurgen Klinsmann? I don't know.
No.
No.
I actually thought he had a lot of good ideas. I thought
As
Klinsmann had
as
lot
a
of good ideas.
tactician, no. As a person that set us in a good path, as developmentally, as a technical director, he did a lot of good things. But as like an in-game tactician, absolutely.
No, yeah. In-game
That's fair.
tactician, he's lackluster. But
But
again,
I took Klinsmann over Arena every day of the week. And
Yeah.
Sunday,
yeah.
so
Arena
that-
was
that
just.
firing
I don't understand
and
that.
hiring was a disaster.
That was
So-
miserable to watch.
that quote from Arena from back in the day when he was like, "I dare any of the European teams to come down here and compete in our CONCACAF, and they'd struggle too." I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Yeah, it'd be hard because the fields aren't. great,
Yeah,
and
on
teams are
some of
gonna be
those
physical, but
pitches. Oh, geez.
sure. Yeah, let's see Spain come down here and yeah, they'll just, even on a bad pitch, they'll just pass straight through a Barbados or a, I forgot what they're
Every game
Trinidad
will
and
be.
Tobago.
Who did we lose
Yeah.
to that kicked us out of
Trinidad
the
and
World Cup?
Tobago.
Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago. That's who I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every game will be like 12-0. God.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's-
I will say Japan is a very good pressing team, so like it could slightly alter our perception of how we played that day. But
true.
obviously Berhalter wants to play a specific way. If it's not working, you have 3 games in the World Cup, right? You have 3 games to, decide your fate. If something's not working, is he willing to change something system-wise, stylistically, go more direct, whatever it might be, He has not shown that. Who's
in our group again?
Wales, England, and Iran in that order.
And also a good point
And-
from Myles. Definitely don't need to play any CONCACAF teams. We play them enough. Plus, we don't play in our group anyway. So we should be playing teams from Europe, from Asia, etc.
But only if we take those games seriously.
True.
Right.
True.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
the funny thing
something
is too
else
that everyone thinks that Iran is going to be the team that we walk over. But
No, Iran
they
is
beat
very
a,
good, dude.
yeah,
Iran
they
is very
beat
good.
a full strength Uruguay team 2-0 during the break.
Iran
The
is
question
a very
is
good team.
if they'll be able to play though, right? I mean, with all the unrest that's going on in Iran right now,
That's true. That's very
and
true.
like they're arresting
Mhm.
players and other like media figures for speaking out
Right.
against the Shah, right?
Does
And the
anyone-
whole team had that like came out with their crest covered this time. So I'm curious to see what happens with them.
Does anyone
sure.
know
Okay.
what would happen
No idea.
if Iran can't play?
Probably goes back into some sort of qualifying, whoever they qualified over type shenanigans.
Oh,
I think it'd be the
I think
timing
they-
of it too.
I think
If
they
it's
feel
too
the
close to the
team-
World Cup, it just turns into
a free
a
game.
3.
What
I think
happened?
they'd field a team. They would just field a team of like pro
Who they
know,
have.
players that whoever they can find to play for them that will, say the right things. I think
Toe
they'll put
the
on the
line.
field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Then it really will turn into a throwaway game for everyone.
this is just a New York Times article. It says arrests and warnings as Iranian soccer stars take side in protests. It looks like 2 of the players got arrested.
Yeah.
Great.
Jeez.
That's ridiculous.
At least 2 other well-known players have been arrested and detained for lending support to the protests that have roiled Iran.
I mean,
since
it's
the
incredible.
death of a young woman.
It's incredible to see these players, with a chance to play in a World Cup, taking that step and seeing like taking it so seriously to support, the women in their country that they're making that decision.
And they risk
cool.
that. Yeah, it's awesome.
Horrifying, but awesome.
Thank you.
Moving along. I don't know how to transition.
Not an easy
Well,
one.
go from the
That's a
national
heavy-
break. Do we want
That's
to
a heavy
do we want to move on
transition to
Southgate?
transition to talking about like Long and Zimmerman.
I blame Matt.
I
No,
mean,
it's good stuff to talk about.
Welcome.
Yeah, it is.
Something else fun to talk about is Twitter, and Twitter hates Long and Zimmerman. Do you guys
True.
also feel the same way?
I don't hate them.
It
they're just
depends on
limited
how we
players.
want to play. If Berhalter goes to the World Cup and decides that he wants to play defensive and hit on the counter, you know what? They won't be too bad. They're athletic, big, know how to win the ball, and they can hit a long ball forward. They can win the ball in the air. They're good. They're good at heading the ball. If he wants to be able to play on the ground possession wise, Zimmerman has a chance. Long absolutely does not.
Mhm.
That's-
I agree.
All right. If are there any other international games we want to talk about before we?
Well, can I just bring up something real quick?
Yeah, definitely.
My confusion is I'm still a little baffled by this, and I understand that they want to try to mix more MLS players with MLS players, but why in the hell did they not bring in Tim Ream? He's playing center back for Fulham. He's been playing in the Premier League or not Premier League, but he's been playing English football for like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, why is he not in consideration at all? Like, he's been doing honestly pretty well for Fulham.
Look at the
I know
center
they've-
backs that Greg Berhalter chooses. He
Just,
doesn't fit the same profile as all the ones that he's chosen already.
I'm just throwing it out there. I think he can possess the ball really well. So why
Cameron
not
Carter
play
Vickers?
him? I don't know. I'm a little baffled by that.
I mean,
I'll throw that out there.
a different coach would be able to make a football team out of the talent that we have. But right now, we're still playing soccer.
Kory, did you want to say more about Vickers?
I mean, Tim Ream is a good shout. I mean, just from what I've seen, he is. I mean, we have seen him in the national team, and he's been okay. Sure, we can give him another run. Is Tim Ream the answer to what we're trying to do? I wouldn't quite say that. I mean,
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
yeah.
at least give him.
No, I
a game.
agree.
Give him 2 games. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
like,
but we don't have 2 more games before the World Cup now, do we?
I'll give you that.
I just think Cameron Carter Vickers plays a style that should, in my opinion, at least appeal to Berhalter. Celtic plays with the ball all the time. They dominate on the ball. He's playing in Europe, again, he plays against Leipzig in a couple days. And, I don't know. The fact that he's not even getting into the squad, just like Tim Ream, is borderline atrocious. And, serious questions need to be asked. But,
Yep, that's for sure.
and I mean, I'll give Berhalter my full support till the end of the World Cup. But I mean, I saw this stat going around that, before he was hired at US soccer, he was where Columbus Crew, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Never finished, anywhere near the top of the league. Like you're
Yeah, I
talking
think that-
10th place, 8th place, 12th place, 5th place. Like
Fifth was his highest finish in MLS.
yeah, like
Yeah.
That's in MLS.
Yeah.
so I mean,
There's controversy how he got hired too. 'Cause
Oh,
isn't it like
absolutely.
his brother's like
brother
on the board?
his brother's like the vice president of football operations for US soccer.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's his. I think it's his brother-in-law.
Yeah, something like that.
yeah.
It's
Anyway,
not,
either way.
but like just when you look at, I don't know who else was in the pool in terms of hiring and everything like that, but
There weren't a lot of good options apparently.
yeah,
I remember actually looking
I
through a
don't
couple
think
of
it
them.
was. I don't think it was a desirable job, and it might still not be.
I
But-
think it.
It would be now.
International soccer is weird. I think it would be, but also, and this isn't a topic we should get into right now because I feel like it's probably longer. But does a national coach need to be your nationality? Because there are way more available possible coaches in the world that would
Doesn't have
probably
to
be
be.
chomping at the opportunity to work with some of these players and the money behind U.S. soccer. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be. And last thing that I'm just going to put out there is that Pep Guardiola, his contract is up at the end of the summer. And he's already talked about wanting to do international soccer. So,
Oh man,
There it
and he
is,
loves
baby.
youth and playing with the ball at their feet. There's a lot
I
of
just wanna throw this
potential
out
with young
there.
guys.
U.S. men's national team World
Just
Cup
saying.
2026.
At
Pep
home,
Guardiola.
Pep Guardiola is our
dude.
coach.
Yeah,
That also frees Man City up for Jesse Marsh to move over there.
true.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, he'd do
True, that's
well
true.
there.
The football they played today, there was it was a 0-0 red card, like 30 plus fouls. I'm sure Man City's looking for
Yeah,
that.
I think coaching Man
Jesse Marsh
City,
didn't coach today.
coaching Man City just
Yeah,
involves
it's true.
unplugging Holland and turning him on and sending him out
Right.
there and he scores goals.
True.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
okay,
Foden
so
got three as well.
we're kind of getting into Premier League.
Foden,
anyway.
yeah,
Why
getting
don't we start with that game?
overshadow.
Yeah, all of you Man United fans there can give us a good rundown.
Oh, so we're not going to talk about the top of the league right now with Arsenal. We're not going to talk about who's top of the league.
We can start with Arsenal. It's
No,
fine.
no,
We can start with Arsenal.
To be fair, they did make London red, I guess. I don't know.
They
But
did.
also, like,
North London.
sorry. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry. Chelsea was not involved in this conversation.
Hey,
Just
Chelsea
like-
won.
I watched all of that game and Chelsea did not look good.
No.
They looked a little rough.
They don't know how to play Graham Potter's system yet.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. Maybe, hopefully.
Hey, Brighton, they still look great. They don't need Potter.
I was gonna say,
the
Brighton still looks-
Cherubie is a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a manager.
And the amount of pundits that were immediately just like, oh, he's not going to do well. He's not from here.
Yeah, just because they're like, wait, Italian manager's doing well here. He was at
What?
Shakhtar. What?
English pundits are probably the worst
Yeah, they're
pundits I've
horrible.
ever seen in my life.
Americans don't do much better. I know we've had talk about Alexi Lawless before, but let's not get into
Oh
that.
my god.
Yeah.
Do you
won't go there.
Do you want a whole conversation about how I can talk so much trash on Alexi Lawless? We'll start right now.
I feel like we're just avoiding the subject of Manchester United losing 6-3, and I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get into it. But yes, North London is red, top of the league until we play Man City and lose. Go on.
Arsenal's looking really good. No, just stick on that.
Arsenal
Yeah, it's-
looks great.
It's been
Yeah.
impressive.
I
hope
know
they-
we talked about it before the pod, with a little bit of Manchester United talk. Yeah, man, you beat us, and that was the best you've looked. But like, easily that game could have been a draw or winning either way. So the fact that that's our only loss of the season makes me feel pretty good.
And I'll give you that
Yeah.
too, but also I think that was like it was like this our second game, third game of like win streak. And then I think that that's massive break because of the games being canceled or postponed or whatever. And then on top of that international break, it just like kind of killed Man United's like essentially like their whole like
Momentum.
streak. Yeah, their
Yeah,
momentum.
They killed
Thank
their
you.
momentum.
Mm.
Killed their momentum. Rashford got hurt during the Arsenal the Arsenal game. We didn't have Martial during it. Well, no, we had Martial for the Liverpool game, but yeah, he got hurt during the Liverpool game. And then, Varane getting hurt today didn't help at all.
God, literally, I was
That
gonna
gonna happen
like,
eventually, right?
yeah, and you're not wrong.
But yeah, shockingly, it wasn't a muscle issue like he's had for the longest time.
Yeah,
It was the ball hit him in a weird way and he landed on his ankle wrong.
Yeah, he's like a glass cannon. Anyways, like it was two things that really made Man United look really bad today. First off, the yellow card on Dallow in the first minute and a half was the
awful.
most ridiculously dumb yellow card I've ever seen. And it wasn't even Dallow's fault. He fouled the guy. Yes, I'll give him that. He definitely fouled him. Was definitely a foul.
Shoulder to shoulder.
But yellow card, like, yeah, he tripped him up, but like, I don't know if that was yellow card worthy. That was in the first minute and a half, and then it like kind of like set us on our heels. And then that Foden goal was beautiful. I can't deny that.
It was,
and I think it should have been 1-0. And then all of a sudden, that injury on Varane, but also, and I understand that it's a rivalry game, but like they literally played around the box for like 5 minutes. Okay, I don't know. I know I'm exaggerating.
You're
but
not
like Varane was literally on the ground for like a couple minutes while they were just playing around with the ball, like Man City was, and they didn't like, I don't know, kick it out.
It's because they were already around the box.
They're
not going to kick it out because it's a rivalry game, and Varane didn't hold his head. If Varane had held his face, his head, or anything like that, they would have had to stop the game. But he held his ankle the whole time.
Yep.
I'd have to. I mean, you said at the beginning of that you had two reasons that they lost. I think
I wouldn't say they lost. I would say that I really thought that no matter what we were going to lose.
It was a snowball effect.
I thought it was going to be closer, not 6-3. I thought it was going to be like,
I mean,
3-1, 2-1.
Those two things caused a snowball effect,
and it just it brought him to the, like, literally he went off to be attended to. Haaland got a goal, and he was wide open. And by the way, why in the world did they put Eriksen on guarding Haaland?
Because that was where they talked about it after the game. That's Varane's spot, but because he was off the field, they just quickly shifted people around, and Eriksen happened to be where he was instead of McTominay.
Yeah, I was just saying, what about McTominay, the other tall, crazy dude we have in our team? Anyways, that was the goal. That was the second goal, and then like he got and then they got a third goal like within like what 5-6 minutes of that one, of Varane coming back on, and it was an amazing goal by Haaland. And then the fourth one came like within another 5 minutes after that. I'm just like, it was a pretty quick transition from like, it was mainly the injury on Varane.
Yeah, that third goal went in because Varane was hurt and couldn't reach the ball.
Yeah.
Any other day of the week, he would have just stuck a foot out and stopped it. But you could tell he was hurting, ran back, and just kind of hoped that Haaland wasn't there. But Haaland's a freak, so he was.
The freak robot man of Haaland, he scored that amazing goal. So
yeah, I have to say that I think it is pretty cool to see what Haaland's doing right now. It's special. In 10 years, 15 years, we might look back at this and be like, wow, we had no idea what was going to happen.
It feels like we're getting to watch it week in, week out live.
If he legitimately scores 65 goals, I'll pay everyone in this group.
Don't say it.
$20.
Oh god.
I thought he wasn't even 65. 15.
Yeah, you already lost your first bet. You just trying to give away money now? This is gonna be online. Gabby can see this.
She won't listen to this. It's okay. I'm just saying, I don't think he'll hit 65. I could see him hitting like 40 or 50. Honestly.
Yeah, I can see him hitting 40.
Yeah.
He's on track right now within 19 games he's supposed to equal Salah, the Premier League record of 32. Salah's record of 32, not the Premier League.
Playing the way he's playing, he'll equal Salah by the end of October.
Plus tended to struggle with injuries, and he gets a full month off because Norway is not going to the World Cup.
Yep. So if he's gonna get hurt, he might as well get chill. Yeah, if he's gonna get hurt, he might as well get hurt at the same time as he always does. middle to end of November.
Then he gets a nice month off while everybody's gonna come back nice and tired, and he's gonna tear it up even more.
Oh my God.
Yup.
Okay. I don't know.
Exciting stuff for the rest
let's
of
see.
the rest of the Premier League.
Before we go into anything else, I just want to say that the Martial PK was probably the best PK, one of the best PKs ever
Ever.
taken. Like
It
that
was amazing. It was perfect.
that was perfect.
Yeah, you can't hit it
I-
better than that.
Don't know how he did that, but that was amazing.
You gotta.
He's got a
you-
lot of confidence, man.
you
He-
United fans,
the
it's
coach chose him to go in over Ronaldo. His
And he
confidence
proved
just
it.
went through the roof.
And he proved it. He scored 2 goals. I mean, but also the 3 goals we got were because Man City was like,
whatever.
like we're good. Go for it, guys.
Yeah,
Have fun.
that's true.
So didn't Ten Hag say that it was because he respected Ronaldo's career too much to put him in a game like that?
I thought
Yep.
that was a really weird comment.
I thought that was like
It's a weird way. Yeah, I kind of understood what he was saying, but
I thought that was like a really weird thing. Like, I guess it because we were already down 4-0, that like he didn't want to like throw him in like
Yeah.
a new guy to go get experience. I don't know.
yeah. And he also said that Martial needed the time because he'd been out for a while, so give him 15 minutes instead of putting Ronaldo out there to just run around at 6-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already got enough press on him at this point. Martial goes in, scores 2 goals. Good, good press for him, but the whole team sucks. Ronaldo goes in at 6-1. He doesn't score 2 goals. Everyone just talks about how the team was awful, but Ronaldo sucked for the 15 minutes. So I kind of get where he was coming from.
Also, I've got to say, Anthony, 2 goals in 2 games. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. but
Looking
he didn't
pretty
have
amazing.
He didn't have the best game, though,
In the first half, no one had a good game in the first half on Man United side.
especially McTominay.
And Ericsson was
Oh, Ericsson was bad.
passing. He was basically passing it to Man City the entire time. Anyways, Myles,
Second half,
let's
he was
go.
better.
Let's go on. Let's go
Yeah.
on.
All right,
Okay,
yeah, Arsenal.
I might start crying.
Yep.
So did we want to move to Arsenal? We might have said everything that we need to say about Arsenal. They look really good. They're playing Liverpool next week, which would be really fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Liverpool look terrible right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arsenal might just like stay at the top for a little while.
Yeah, they might.
Matt, did you want to talk about Chelsea at all? I haven't seen Conor Gallagher's goal yet, but I'm looking it up right now.
That was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Stunning. Yeah, I mean, I think Kory kind of said it earlier. Chelsea didn't look great, but managed to get a win out in the end, and I think that's huge. One of the biggest things they've struggled with recently is just not being able to create chances, and when they do create them, not being able to finish them. So seeing 2 created chances and 2 finishes was a nice thing to see from the team. But yeah, I wasn't impressed. I'm hopeful that with a little bit more time with Potter, they'll get better.
Oh my god.
You know,
It did
I
create.
I will
far
say,
out-
Aubameyang
far
at
out
least
is-
getting a goal in his second, third Chelsea game.
This is his first Premier League
Yeah,
start.
So would you
Start.
guys like to hear a fun fantasy Premier League story from this week? Conor Gallagher scored 8 fantasy points from the 3rd position on my bench.
Strong. Good work.
Oh,
The
Sean,
good
what
thing about
So those are just
The-
going to evaporate.
the funny thing about the Conor Gallagher thing is that the Palace fans, obviously he was incredible at Palace last year. Their
he was.
player of the season, and they gave him a standing ovation when he came on, when he got subbed on, and then like not
Did
long
that.
later scored on them. I honestly think that I bet a bunch of them went home and were like, yeah, of course he scored on us. Like he was the best
He's
player
that
on our
good.
team last season, and now he plays for somebody else. Of course he scored on us.
Yeah.
And I bet they still love
True.
him.
And just for the U.S. national team stuff, Pulisic was the one that passed him the ball. So,
Right.
He wouldn't have scored it
True.
if Pulisic didn't give it to him. Just saying.
So
I mean,
good.
it's the touch of that U.S. magic that we never have, so it's okay.
Yeah,
He just
exactly.
gave it to Conor Gallagher, not to the World Cup.
I did not realize that was Pulisic that passed it to him. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Pulisic
You know,
got
he's
that.
passed, gave him a little 6-yard pass. Gallagher did everything else.
Everything else.
Everything
Obama-
else.
And of course, Matt, I'm playing you this week, and I'm getting my.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
booty handed to you.
Not even going to talk about it. I'm done.
Gang's goal was actually also pretty incredible. The way he
It was.
turned
It was
and hit
pretty
it
nice.
first
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
as that came by. I mean, how
Well,
many
the
guys
keeper-
can do
the
that?
keeper got a glove on it and still
How can he move like that at 36 or 34, however old he is?
Yeah, unreal.
I'm
Wait, I'm
29.
sorry,
I
which-
can't do
which-
that.
Which one was that?
Chelsea's their first goal.
Oh, okay.
Obama scored it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I think we talked about all of our teams.
Liverpool,
So
Brighton.
one thing that I wanted to ask, sorry, what?
3-3, yeah.
Liverpool Brighton. Yeah, it was a huge
Yeah,
game.
3-3.
It was
Some
fun.
crazy back and forth. Brighton looks really good. Liverpool does not.
And on the west coast of the US, we actually got to see it. It was on at a super reasonable time. It was I think it was 8:30. So like I actually got to watch
Yeah,
it.
it's not bad.
It was fun. Yeah.
So, are we witnessing Brighton turn in? Honestly, if Potter would have stayed, do you guys think that
No.
Brighton
No.
could have pulled out a Premier League win or like title, like Leicester?
No.
I don't
No,
think
No,
the
you don't
title,
think so?
absolutely not.
I think they could have been competing for the Europa League spot.
Yeah, maybe that at best.
Well, I mean, why not?
No,
Yeah.
I think that would like finishing
It-
sixth would have been their, would have been very good, and they're probably their ceiling. It's just the other teams have too many resources. The only reason Leicester won, yeah, it was a good team, but everybody was horrible that season. Look at the point totals that won the league. Like nobody's been that low in years now.
Yeah.
Like to
I was
in the
about to say,
Premier League now, you
every-
need 80, 90, 100 points. Like I think Leicester won on 70 something, maybe 60 something. I don't know.
Was it really that low?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 70 something gets you fifth.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Like
so-
Barrett. Yeah. So
But also though, like if you think about it, like whenever they played like the top teams, they were beating them or tying them. Like there was
They
no
were bad.
losing.
Yeah.
but you have to win 30. It's about 38. Like you can win against good teams. But like Brighton started top of the league after 10 games last season too. They were like top 3. It's a long season, a lot.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
you have to beat the Southamptons. You have to beat, Fulham. You have like going to those games and getting points out of them is what they struggled with. Like
And
Gotcha.
one thing I think though that is interesting this year though is like a lot of the teams that do compete for the fifth and sixth spots are not doing well because you
True.
have Wolves, Leicester. Let's see who else is normally in there. I
West
think
Ham.
West
And
Ham.
honestly, Everton.
West Ham.
I mean, Everton
Yeah.
haven't been there in a couple of
Everton.
years.
Yeah, Everton has dropped out of the top
Yeah.
6 10 years ago.
They won yesterday.
2-1,
Yeah.
I think.
2-1.
They
Yeah,
did.
barely.
They got to win though.
And
Did
West Ham
Garner
finally
play?
got their first game, or finally won their first game.
I mean, based on how the table is shaping up, yeah, Brighton, Newcastle could be like Fulham will drop down a little bit, Liverpool will go up a little bit, but it's going to be the big 6 with, maybe Newcastle or Brighton knocking on one of those doors, depending on how they do over the next 10, 15 games.
Yeah.
But it's probably just going to be, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man U.
Well, I mean, at this point, I think it's going to come down to like a 2 or 3 point thing by the end of the season between Arsenal and Man City.
I think you're giving
Depends
Arsenal
on
too
injuries.
much. You're giving Arsenal too much credit, but I appreciate that.
Arsenal
I mean,
gets two,
If we
Arsenal
finish within
gets 2
2,
injuries,
yeah.
they drop down quite a bit. City
think-
get 2 injuries like they have, and they still beat United 6-3. That's the difference between the two teams.
But that's
Even
the
if
thing is,
Haaland gets hurt, they have other people that are going to score the goals. Jesus gets hurt, they don't have another out and out number 9 that's going to do his job.
mean Eddie Nketiah is not going to do his job.
Yeah,
not the same, not to the same level, not
I'm
to the
kidding,
same
I'm
level.
kidding.
but I
I
mean,
like
he'll still,
Eddie.
but he'll still bag a goal every other game, which is basically what they need because
Scored
they still
what?
have,
Scored 5 and 7 to end the season last season. Just saying.
and
Yeah.
they still have Xhaka who's randomly scoring bombs from outside the box.
Scored from
And then
inside the box against Tottenham.
I'll give that to him today.
I
But
mean,
I'm just
most people
saying,
didn't
like,
think he could play the attacking, the left attacking midfield role, and he's doing it quite well.
yeah, he's doing really well.
It is. Partey
I'm just
also
saying,
gives you guys a lot of balance.
I really think that Arteta has actually done something over there. Like, I think it's going to be another really good, and I could be wrong. I like right now, like I think they'll finish second, but I mean, I could see them finishing third or fourth. But next season, they're going to be. If they get another player or two, they're going to be unreal.
I hope so.
And Man U will be in fifth place probably. It's okay.
Should we run down some of the games that are coming up this coming
Yeah,
game?
sure.
Or yeah, this isn't a midweek.
No, it's Europe this week. So
Yeah, we got Europe.
Champions League, Europa League this week. Conference League too. Let's not forget. My bad.
Right. Man, I haven't even looked up the Champions League games yet, but I do have the Premier League games in front of me if you guys want to talk about them at all.
Yeah, let them rip.
So we mentioned Arsenal and Liverpool. I think you have to say Arsenal's going to win. Liverpool's just seems tired.
Not great. Hey, so if Arsenal lose again, is Klopp still safe?
Klopp will be safe
Liverpool,
until
Liverpool
he
loses.
wants to leave. Klopp will be safe until he wants to leave. Which could happen.
So.
That's kind of what happened at Dortmund and Mainz. Like his team's
It's always
hit a
his fifth
wall.
season.
Yeah, his team's hit a wall, and then it's just a bit of, is it firing or is it mutual agreement to be like, yeah, this isn't working and I can't get him out of this. Somebody else might be able to, but I mean, I think go ahead.
I just think it's all going to come down to if he leaves Trent as a right back or not in his system. Just the amount of games that I've watched him play in and the amount of things that I've heard from Liverpool fans online.
In another coach's system, you mean? Or like...
No, in his... while he's still at Liverpool. If he keeps Trent at right back.
Oh, that's not why they're losing games. He's not the sole...
He's not the sole
He won a
reason.
Champions League with him playing right back. That's not the issue. Not that he has been playing great. He really hasn't. And some of the 5-second clips on Twitter of him giving up on plays is not a good look either. I will say.
I know, but from what I've watched from him this season, he's getting caught out more often because the system that he's playing isn't working as well moving forward. So they're not attacking and defending on the front foot as often. They're getting attacked more, which is how he's getting caught out more often. And they're showing his weakness in his defensive capabilities, but also showing that Van Dijk is a step slower than he has been since before his injury.
Yeah.
So it's like he's got to figure out a way to get a stronger defense, basically in his defense. And Trent can't be one of those that helps that. So if he continues to rely on the exact same people, it's going to turn into that. Is he going to be fired? Is he going to be mutual consent? What's going to happen?
Something will happen during the season regardless. I can't, unless you think Pochettino would be the guy to come in. Like what other coaches are available?
No.
Pochettino would be.
So.
Pochettino would be.
That's the only coach that comes to mind that would be available right now.
And Tuchel.
I guess, but I don't know.
But the thing is, like, I don't think Chelsea gave Tuchel a fair amount of time. Personally, Tuchel I think is a great coach.
Under Abramovich, he would have been gone anyway. Like I think he was fired exactly when Chelsea would normally fire him.
Abramovich also would have done different business over the summer and done business with Tuchel instead of the new guy coming in and doing business his way and kind of forcing Tuchel out.
Yep.
Still bought players. I mean,
bought players that didn't really fit the system.
There have been
from everything that I've heard.
there have been Chelsea coaches over the last 20 years that did not agree with who they brought in, but Abramovich would pretty much just say, I brought you in a quality player. You fucking figure, excuse me, I'm sorry. You figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, guess what? I'll fire you, bring in somebody else that will.
Yeah, that's true.
My prediction before the season started was that he would be the first coach fired, and I was off solely because Liverpool beat Bournemouth 10-0 or whatever. The poor Scott Parker.
Yeah, and that one was ridiculous, and nobody agreed with it.
Yeah, I did, and I mean, it's tough, but I'm not that surprised with or without the investment they had that it happened.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
I think Potter will do well. I think Potter will do very well.
Oh, I think he will too.
Yeah. So this next game week, Brighton plays Tottenham.
Ooh, that's a good
Oh,
game.
that'll be a good test.
That'll be
I
fun.
still think Tottenham will win, but I think it'll be a really close game. I think it'll be like a 3-2, 2-1 sort of thing.
Two Italian managers in the Premier League going after it.
One a lot more attacking than the other one.
Yes, very much, very much.
Chelsea plays Wolves.
Oh, well, Chelsea gets another win.
That's gonna be a
Wolves. Bruno Lage will probably be the next coach fired.
He has been. He
We
has
have
been
some news,
fired.
Corey.
Oh, he got sacked today.
Today. Yep.
Today.
Yep. Today he got fired.
They looked horrible, dude. They have not looked good. All he does is complain on the sideline too. Like,
Well, when your team's playing that bad.
I mean, he's got good players there, right? He's got good enough players.
United's wanted Neves for like 3 years now, and they wouldn't let us
Yeah.
have him. And now
Yeah.
he's playing like this.
I mean, I guess Nottingham, Leicester, Wolves, Crystal Palace is the bottom four right now. Not great.
yeah, not great.
Yeah.
I feel like
Actually-
Crystal Palace has been really unlucky to be that low. They've played well, I thought, every time I've watched them.
Yeah, Vieira's a really good coach. It's really weird that they're that low.
Yeah, West Ham is
They
another
just keep
one.
tying.
West Ham
Keep-
and Aston Villa are also two teams that I'm super surprised to see at 8 and 7 points. Like,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, it's weird.
once we get Kyle in here, he'll be happy to rip on Gerrard, but I'll do it in his stead. I don't think he's a very good manager.
I'll do it in his stead.
That's fair.
I just don't think he's a very good manager. And Aston Villa, they sold Grealish, but they brought in a lot of players, and I just don't
They
think
did.
I just don't think he knows what to do with them or what system he wants to play. I don't think that's gonna last long.
Yeah, when I saw how Rangers were playing, I thought he was like a decent manager. But then he came in and has done nothing for Villa in the
Like,
time that he's been there.
They barely won the league over Celtic, in one of his 5 seasons that he was there or whatever. And they spend, if you look at like the percentages of like the differences between what Celtic and Rangers spend versus everybody else in the league,
Mhm.
it's like 10 times of what the difference is between, a Man City and a Wolves. Like, if you're not finishing top 2 and you're at Rangers, like, you're not doing a good job at
Yeah.
all. And I mean, he wasn't very good in Europe either, I will say. He got knocked out in most of the qualification rounds.
That's true.
But I mean, I just think he looks a little bit out of his depth. They're scraping by for results at this point with
Yeah.
a relatively expensive team that they've spent good money on, I thought.
And they have some really good players.
They do. Ollie Watkins is a quality forward. I mean,
Ollie
Matty
Watkins
Cash is good. Douglas
Boubacar
Luiz's
Kamara
good.
this summer for free.
Yeah, Kamara is a good player. I mean, I know he's hurt now, but Diego Carlos is a good player. Tyrone
Yeah.
Mings, I don't know. if
Leon
he's-
Bailey.
Leon Bailey was a good signing. I just don't know if he knows exactly what to do with some of these signings.
I don't think so either. I
Speaking
guess in that
of-
same vein, what do you think of Lampard?
I think it's very similar. I think he's out of his depth. He was in a relegation battle last year, and he's probably lucky to be at 10 points right now with the way I've seen him play.
Yeah. See, I actually thought Lampard was a better coach than a lot of people thought he was. He got Chelsea playing pretty well that first bit while he was there. But then after they signed a few more players, he just kind of just didn't know what to do with all the superstars that he had and just was in over his head. I thought he just like tactically, he's pretty smart. He changes things when he needs to. He just, I don't know if he just hit a wall again or what, but I think he's not terrible.
I mean, it's hard because you learn everybody learns at different curves, right? Because like you can compare Arteta Gerrard and Lampard in terms of they kind of all retired around the same time. They've all been in management around the same length. And I just think, and Arteta's not perfect. There's been plenty of games over the last 2-3 seasons that he's, gotten wrong, decisions before the game, during the game, whatever.
I want someone to put a book together that's just Arteta's pre-game speeches.
Oh my God, dude.
Like with the illustrations.
So good. I mean, he's
That'd be great.
learning. I don't know. I think Lampard could do well, but I also think the Chelsea job was just not for him at the time. That was just
Completely agree. It was too much of a step from Derby to Chelsea.
I mean,
His Derby looked great.
Matt,
they look solid, and I mean, there's a reason they look good at the start when he picked up Chelsea, because he just basically made the team around Mason Mount, who was at Derby with him.
Yep.
Yeah, Matt, what were your comments on that?
Oh, the same. Just that it was too big a step too soon for him. But actually, I'm curious. So we have one more game this weekend still, or this game week. Leicester Forest.
Leicester Forest tomorrow. That is bottom of the table battle. Wow.
Right, like super exciting. I'm curious if Leicester loses to Forest, is Brendan Rodgers?
Oh, Brendan Rodgers out.
He gotta be.
He's gotta be. I mean, he's gotta be.
He doesn't strike
he's
me
gotta
as the
go.
type of guy to be able to get himself out of a hole.
Right.
No matter how much he says it in his interviews, he's gone.
He does not strike
Right.
me as that type of character.
Yeah.
All I want is my boy Dean Henderson to just light him up. All I want is him to I want PKs on Dean Henderson, and I want him to get 2 PK saves, and just make him look horrible. That's all I want.
Coming from the fantasy guy that chose Dean Henderson as his keeper.
I mean, it is a battle of the bottom,
Yeah.
but I am interested to see if Nottingham can somehow make these 20 signings work. And
That's insane.
like the amount of people they brought, like I simply, I don't know.
God.
Because
Is it
Fulham
the
has made
majority-
this mistake before, and that's why they're a yo-yo club.
Yeah.
Right.
But this season it looks a little different. They only brought in like 2 or 3 players, and they've kept the way they played the same as what they did in the championship, and it looks like it's doing a lot better than completely
They're not doing bad.
overhauling.
Dan James, Pereira. That actually seemed like good signings for Fulham. But yeah, Nottingham though, I didn't realize how many guys in their team were on their last year of their contract, or they were loanees from last year.
Yeah.
Until I realized that 17 players left.
I wonder
That's
if
why
they
they had to
can.
make so many signings.
Yeah, if they can. I feel like if they can keep themselves at a decent enough level through the first half of the season, and then have that World Cup break to maybe become a team.
Get a little chemistry going.
maybe something could happen, but otherwise, yeah, they don't.
Is training allowed during the World Cup break?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, they can train as much as they want with the players that are left there.
I'd imagine teams will give, like, if they're off for 4 to 6 weeks because of the World Cup, I'd imagine managers will give players that are staying like a week or 2 off, and then they'll get back to training right away.
Yeah.
Just
I'm so used to US sports where like the practice schedule is just like totally strict and regimented. Yeah. So
Which is
No,
one of
I
the
know what
US
you mean.
it
sports
seems to
we
me
are.
like, like you have to like dial back the training in some way, but I guess why
Right.
would you do that? Yeah, Watford's jerseys are sick this year. Okay, sorry.
If we're gonna talk about jerseys, the ones that Newcastle had on today.
Oh my god.
Oh. Or was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Newcastle,
It was yesterday.
Newcastle's jerseys yesterday. Oh god,
I really
love
like the ones that Chelsea wore this weekend. The white with like that turquoise blue stripes. Those are cool.
Mm.
them. Those look sweet. That's for
All
sure.
of Manchester United's jerseys look like hot garbage. It's like a 5-year-old
Oh,
decided to
I
draw
like
with the
their
crayon and be like,
primary.
cool, here they are.
I like their I like Manchester United's primaries. I think they look cool.
Their
I like
white
the
one is
yellow.
okay. I don't like any of the other ones.
I don't like the red one. I think it kind of looks, I don't know.
Bad.
I think it looks bad. I think it
No,
just looks
actually-
terrible.
So it's actually kind of funny that I really like the Newcastle jersey that they wore yesterday. It's very similar to the Boca Juniors one that Matt has on. It's the
It's a
dark
cool
blue with gold. It doesn't have the big gold line on it, but it's just
Sure.
like, yeah, the color scheme is about the same.
They're good colors.
They are dark blue and gold. Hey, it's our high school colors too.
Yes.
Good old OTHS.
So we have a couple things to get to before we wrap up, guys.
Yeah, let's go.
Matt, do we have a WSL update?
Yeah. So I mentioned last week, I think, how it was a huge bummer that a bunch of the opening games of the season weren't able to be played because of the Queen's death, and how they were all planned to be in the men's stadiums to give a chance for all these fans to come in. So this weekend there were a couple big derby games. Everton played Liverpool at Anfield, which was super cool. They had over 27,000 fans there in attendance. So that broke the record for the Liverpool women, attendance at one of their matches. And then Arsenal played Tottenham, beat them 4-0 at the Emirates, and over 47,000 people attended that. So that broke the
Jeez.
WSL attendance record all time by like
That's awesome.
almost 10,000 people. So that's super cool. Some big gains, some definite, turnout from the England women winning the Euros. Other games that were good: United beat West Ham 2-0, and probably the big game in terms of the teams playing, Chelsea beat City 2-0 also. So that was good.
Perfect.
Other cool things that are coming up in the women's soccer universe. The international break just started for them, and the U.S. women's national team has some really big games coming up to get prepared for next year's World Cup in New Zealand. On Friday,
that'll be
they play
fun.
against England, who again just won the Euros, so that'll be a huge game. And then on next Tuesday, they play against Spain, which would be a huge game, except for like 15 of the Spanish women's players pretty much resigned from the team because
of the coach.
hate the coach. Yeah, Jorge Vilda. So
Heard about that.
see how that goes. But,
I mean, you want to explain what happened then? What happened
yeah,
with the coach?
it's kind of hard to know, honestly. 15 players wrote emails into the federation saying like, we are not feeling supported. We're not feeling like we can play our best football underneath this manager, and we won't play again until he's out. And then basically the federation was like, cool, you'll never play for us again unless you apologize, which is just like this kind of gross, like, I don't know. The whole
Lots of
soccer,
controversy.
I think, just makes the Spanish national team and the Spanish Federation look really, really bad. So see how that turns out.
When you get a mutiny that's that big, they have to
It
start
means
looking at something being like, okay, maybe not stick to your guns. Maybe he is the issue. If there's that
Right.
many of them, if it's like 3, sure, it's probably just some unrest going on. But 15,
Something's happening. Right.
something happened. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I feel like the guy should just resign, right? If you don't have support of your team at that level, like, you get out. You're done.
I mean, you're not doing your job right if you don't have your team support.
But then he doesn't get the money if he resigns. So just let's just keep that in mind.
True, he does have to get fired to get his severance or whatever it is.
Yeah.
True.
Well, crazy for the federation for sticking with him then.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. What's more important, a head coach or all the players on your team? I'm going to definitely say all the players on your team.
Yep. But that comes in with a new controversy too about the whole like player power that's been going on lately, which is what United's actually trying to get away from. But whole nother story.
Right.
So a lot of moving parts.
For sure.
Anything else there, Matt?
Nope. That's the big news.
I had some news for the I had a couple things for women's soccer to get into. Something that was really cool happened at San Diego Wave, which is WSL. Or no, that's not right. It's NWSL. Team sold out their stadium, Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, 32,000 people to one of their home games. And I guess
Very nice.
their attendance since has been somewhere around 20,000, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So it definitely seems like San Diego is enjoying their soccer there. Another thing that I saw was the Rugby World Cup is now not known as the Men's Rugby World Cup or Women's Rugby World Cup. They're going to just go by the year number, and the year number, if it's odd or even, designates, if it's men or women who are playing.
Very good.
Okay.
I saw people throwing out like, oh, that, we could do that in soccer. So just something to think about. I don't know that it's a huge deal, but something Rugby did. So those are my news from the women's soccer, but cool stuff happening in the US there. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
okay. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to touch on before we wrap up?
Yeah, one thing, just one question for everybody is who's getting FIFA 23 and who's immediately using Ted Lasso and the Richmond Greyhounds as their career team?
I would feel bad breaking the team up, It's like, oh, we gotta bring in some guys.
Oh, I'm completely
So
turning
you're bringing
off.
in Ronaldo.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
To AFC Richmond right away.
No. Immediately turning off the transfer window, just starting the season right away with who they've got, letting Ted Lasso choose everything.
I want to see the ratings. I'm sure the ratings are out. Let me see if I can pull them up here.
While you're looking that up, another cool thing about that FIFA 23 is that and women's football is that it's the first time they've added women's leagues to the game. There has always, or not always, recently there have been some of the women's national teams, but they just added a few of the women's leagues. So that's been a cool.
That's awesome.
Love that.
All right, you guys want to hear the overalls?
And give us Jamie
Let her
Tart
rip.
first. Give
Okay.
us Jamie Tart.
Jamie Tart is a striker with an overall of 84.
That's
Ooh,
crazy.
Love it.
What?
That's crazy.
He
high.
did
You
play
guys
for
saw
Man
his free
City.
kick in the first season.
He did play for Man City.
True,
He did play for Man City.
So the only reason that he was cut from Man City was because he went on the version of Love Island.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's true. Yep.
He wasn't
He's
cut from
basically Jack Grealish, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
wasn't.
He's basically Jack Grealish.
Here's my thing: is when does it start back up? Because I cannot wait.
End of
Love
this
Island? I don't know.
year.
Well, no, yeah,
One
you
here.
got me.
End of this year for Ted Lasso.
We'll go through a few others here. Danny Rojas, the other striker, is an 82. What an upfront pairing they actually have.
Love it.
Gotta play 4-4-2, man.
Oh, for sure.
Roy Kent is a CDM with 83.
Ooh. All
Wait,
right.
they put Roy Kent in there? Oh, okay.
Player coach.
Yeah.
Player coach.
Pre-retirement.
Sam Abasanya is a right midfielder with 81.
Oh, I'm surprised with that one.
Yeah,
I was expecting 78.
Yeah. Any of the other names?
Oh, who was the new captain? Season 2 captain.
The center back?
Yeah.
I
The
forget
bigger
his
dude.
name. Yeah, I forget his name.
Was
All
not
right.
the Dutch guy.
No, not the Dutch guy. The other guy that had to go to go play
the-
street ball to get his mojo back.
The Dutch guy was like by far one of my favorites.
Oh, he's great.
That was so
Oh, I
good.
tell the truth. I'm Dutch.
Joe was so good. They were at the Arsenal game this weekend, I know. Jason Sudeikis and Brendan Hunt.
Yeah, they were.
They've been taking in a lot of Premier League games.
Yeah. Maybe I think they're filming over there, or I don't know. Who knows? All right, guys. That's all I have.
Lovely.
All right.
Fun hanging with you this week.